guys, welcome back. We got a really cool breakdown. As you all know, this weekend was really exciting. I'm biased because there was a lot of jiu-jitsu.
Yes, we love jiu-jitsu over here.
And Henry knows me, like sometimes if the UFC has a lot of kickboxers and brawlers, I kind of like, I'll watch it or sometimes I won't. I'm super honest with you. But this time, I was able to tune in and I think I was, messaging you, man, I hope there's jiu-jitsu.
I'm the same way, man. Honestly, like I can confidently say that right now I probably watch way more jiu-jitsu and way more grappling in general than I do MMA. And when I watch the UFC right now, like I really look forward to the grappling aspects of it. I think it's just something that happens when you start grappling because you can now understand what's going on a bit more.
Right.
If you don't do it, it kind of looks like two guys laying on each other, not really doing much. But now I'm like, hey, he's not just laying on him.
Right.
Look at that crossface.
Right.
Look at what he's doing with his legs. There's so much more going on that it's like, it's more interesting to me now. Yeah. So I'm very glad that they grappled.
And I'm not going to talk about the drama. I know you already shed light on that. Yeah. I want to talk about the jiu-jitsu.
Right.
So regardless of the weight cut, didn't make weight, whatever.
Who cares?
Did he hit the, whatever. Let's talk about Khamzat Chimaev, Kevin Holland. Came in with a beautiful darce. Well, first of all, I came in with a beautiful takedown shot for a simple single-double, hip body clamp, took him down. Kevin Holland tried to just use his athleticism, which was great, but it'll only take you so far. And so eventually he sunk in a nice darce. Yeah. So before we start, do you have questions?
Well, for one, the setup to that darce, because generally when we see a darce choke, they go in here right away.
Right.
But he was doing some. Show it.
All right. So this is so I've trained with many jiu-jitsu competitors, wrestlers. They call this system. It's part of the front headlock system. Okay. And so a lot of times when you get a front headlock, you're here. You connect. Right. I got your microphone. You hug the chin a little bit. You grab an S. But sometimes, a lot of times when they snap you down, they connect their hands like an S grip, and they start doing do this number. They start going like this. They start putting their elbow in. And they bring their palm in. So look at that gap. It closes here. So let me do it to you real quick. So as I'm here, I'll make that S grip, and I'll start using my elbow to tuck that chin.
And that keeps the head down as well.
Right. So every time you try to posture, it's extremely hard to do. So then they shoot that arm deep, and they're able to connect that darce. Okay. So this worked perfectly into Chimaev's game because he's a freestyle wrestler. Okay. So he's able to connect that S grip, bring that what they call that front headlock, drop that elbow, and then as he tucks that elbow, he's able to grab like a lot of length on that arm. Okay. So it's not like a traditional jiu-jitsu darce. Okay. A jiu-jitsu darce is here, right? Like I'm trying to squeeze, but look I can only get so far. With a front headlock, my elbow goes behind, and then now look, I can get more.
I see.
More grip on the darce. This is exactly what he did. Okay. And typically, I'm guilty of this too. When I roll and I get a darce, sometimes I go for the front headlock, sometimes I don't. I'll go for the darce. The guy will go flat on his back, which Kevin Holland tried. And usually, I'm a very passive player. So my jiu-jitsu game is like, oh, if it's not there, I move on. So if I have a darce, and you do what Kevin Holland did, which is just go flat on your back.
And right? I'm going flat with
on this side, right? So you just go flat, and you go flat, flat, flat. I abandon, go to mount, knee on belly. Okay. Chimaev is not.
No, he didn't.
He's not me, right? So every time he did that, Chimaev would sink it in even more, and he would prevent that shoulder. And sometimes Holland would go flat, and he would bring him back and hold on to this. And then sometimes, as he would drop for this darce, he would let him catch him in this half guard, and it gets tighter. So the big question most people have, and I don't know if it's the one you have, I know our mics are all over the place.
It's okay.
Is what could Kevin Holland have done?
That's the question. Because, dude, when you had me down there, I go to posture up, and it almost feels like you could easily roll me over.
Right.
With the amount of pressure I'm feeling on my neck. It's almost making me feel like I'm gonna roll right over. So I don't what could he have done?
So let's answer the question in two answers. One is prevention, like how could he have prevented this?
Right.
And you might not like the answer. A lot of coaches probably wouldn't like the answer. But if we're being realistic against someone like Chimaev, this would have been the only way to prevent. Like if we had tape on him, because the thing is, Holland didn't have tape on him. He didn't do a grappling camp, right? On this day, what they say, like when Nate Diaz also fought, he had a camp for Chimaev. He didn't have a camp for Ferguson, which we'll get to later. But So the way to prevent it is instead of turtling, right? So every time I turtle or go for a single, that darce is right there, and I'm victim to it. So the only way is when you have a hip body lock and you're taking me down, I need a pull guard. Because it's not pretty, it's not great, but now I can work. Kevin Holland's not bad on his back. And he can stay here, up kick, obviously not to the face, and kind of stay here, but he'll survive. And I guarantee you, he would have survived the first round. Remember I told you, I gave my predictions. I didn't say it out there, but my predictions were if Holland had played a more conservative game, right? Well, he didn't play any game because he just got taken out right away. But if he would have played a more conservative game, I think that Chimaev could have gone decision.
Right.
But he would have badly lost on the control, on the ground and pound.
Right.
So that's prevention.
Okay.
Now, how do you get out of the darce?
Because, yeah, I mean, what you said is very true. Because during the scrambles, Kevin's, his whole game was stand back up, get back up, get back up. And so in the process of getting back up, he was here.
Right.
And Chimaev shot that right away and got it.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is when you have someone that's that aggressive, right, and trying to pin you, sometimes it's better to just accept the bottom position, close guard specifically. Try to get to close guard and then work from there.
They're saying Kevin Holland's a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
And so if
He should be comfortable
He
there.
should be comfortable in the close guard. He should play some hook butterfly guard.
Gotcha.
Stay away from half guard. It's terrible, especially against someone like Chimaev. Close guard, butterfly, get really, really tight so that way everything is here. Get underneath the hips.
I can't hit you here.
And I can pull you over and
is...
try to like maybe heel hook or something, right? But
oh, by the way, go back down there because someone's gonna say it. Someone's gonna say it.
Right.
This position is. Let's move this way so they can see.
Okay.
Someone's gonna say it.
Okay.
This position is terrible because you can just punch. Okay, watch what he does. I'm gonna go to punch you.
Yeah. I mean, and the other thing too is it invites the leg locks, right? Yeah. So if I'm here,
guys, this is a ridiculously unstable position for me. I know you probably don't understand that because but I have very little. It's so easy for him to kazushi from here. I go to punch like this is.
And I would honestly do this for MMA. I would do this to set up a heel hook to just get the sweep.
Yeah.
So as soon as I set up the heel hook, you retreat. As you retreat, I use it to come up and gain control. Yeah. But I would threaten the heel hook to get that reaction. Yeah. I think that would have been a good option for Holland.
And that's exactly what Gilbert Burns did. When Khamzat Chimaev fought Gilbert, Gilbert did not play that try to get up game.
No.
He recovered guard, and Khamzat respected it.
And he got back up, that's
beautiful.
right. So I didn't even think of that. So, I mean, I kind of gave my answer to what Gilbert Burns would do. That would be completely prevention. Escapes, I'm going to be honest, it'd be really hard, especially with someone with a background. You have to understand Chimaev's at the elite freestyle wrestler in the world, right? He's one of the best, national champion. So their pace, their control, very tough. Now, there are some escapes. It would have been really hard. So some escapes you could do is like, very hard, like I said, but if I have a darce, I'm gonna bait you for a single, right, and I'll eat the single to come back into the same position.
Okay.
Or, this one is very advanced, very tough. I'm gonna try to do like an arm drag, where I kind of try to arm drag this way and try to come back this way, but like I said, against a freestyle wrestler like that, those are kind of your Hail Mary pass to get out of there.
There are some positions in jiu-jitsu where like they get into it. It's kind of like asking like, what do you do when someone has like a completely? It's like your options are so.
You could do like a duck under. So I could come here and try to duck under this way and try to come out the back.
But like on the mat
where he's right. It's tough. So on the mat, you throw in a darce, I'm gonna stand and bait that single. I want you to go for that single. You go for that single. Now I can fight one leg. Now I have all my attention on that one leg versus on my neck and arm. Right. But I don't stay here.
Okay.
I don't stay
What if
here.
he doesn't take the single? He's like, screw you, I know what you're doing, I'm gonna hang on.
So the thing is, if he stays on the darce, go ahead and connect the darce. It's really hard to finish when I'm standing. Right. So every time you take me to the ground, I have this other arm. So I'm baiting you to take me. I'm very easy to take down though.
Right. I can just
very easy. Yeah, very easy. So I'd rather be taken down than submitted.
Okay.
Right. And then the last thing is, bringing, it's so hard, man, but bringing that arm all the way so I don't feed.
Show me.
So if you have a darce, two things need to happen. This arm needs to be collapsed, and exactly. And two, you need to put me in some sort of contact position. So where you put me into half guard. Like that. So if I can bring my elbow out here and create space, make a fist with my hand and create space. Maybe let's go here so they could see it. So if I'm on this side, I'm pushing out this way, and I'm like posturing with my neck, so I don't let you connect here.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Again, easier said than done,
Easy,
right?
yeah.
But if you collapse this, and you connect the half guard, I'm done. I'm done. So it's one of those things where it was at the, the entire game of Chimaev was played out in the wrestling and the darce. Like that's exactly what he wanted. And the pace was high, and the wrestling was high level, and the darce was perfect for a wrestler that Holland could never recover. He can never think, he can never react. And so it was a display of beautiful wrestling combined with beautiful jiu-jitsu, combined with an intense pace. You don't see that pace normally in MMA.
Bro, no.
And so
I think the last time I saw like someone get jumped like that was Cain Velasquez versus JDS.
Oh yeah,
Fight
yeah,
number
yeah.
2.
That's right.
Cain Velasquez.
That was Velasquez's like peak too, right?
Came
Well, his
out.
pace was always pretty.
But I mean, what he did to Junior Dos Santos, I mean,
Right.
he wanted to break him quick.
And Dos Santos wasn't the same after that.
No, dude.
I think that broke him a little bit.
Those matches with Cain Velasquez completely shattered JDS.
Yeah, because after that he kind of went on the a little bit
Yeah,
after
yeah.
his career.
Yeah, he beat him bad. He beat him bad. Took years off his career.
Wow.
For sure. Yeah, but Kevin didn't take a lot of damage.
He didn't. I mean,
He didn't. He wasn't ground and pounded to death.
No.
It was just like pace, and then
submit
just,
you, and I
yeah.
think the thing that he did a lot, or like he probably got away with it in training, is you go flat back, and the guy usually lets go and goes to something
But
else.
Khamzat was so stubborn.
He would put him back in that front headlock. See, when you fold that here, you bring that elbow in and you drop the elbow, they can't go anywhere. So he would bring him back, get him to his side, refeed the darce stroke. I mean, you guys can work this in the gym. Talk to any wrestlers, they'll tell you about it. Like a simple front headlock is so good and so powerful that it's perfect for no-gi and MMA. And I'm surprised actually, a lot of people don't do it as much. I think because, leg locks took over as a fad, but that's kind of died out. And now, I don't know what you think, but my opinion in no-gi now, it's evolved so much that wrestling has kind of become a requirement now.
Yes.
So you have all these grapplers who are very good wrestlers, very good leg lockers, and I think they're coming back full circle, but the darce game, the head and arm game, is still so good for
Rutola
MMA.
brothers.
Yeah, oh yeah, perfect.
Rutola brothers, Cade and Ty Rutola.
Now,
that's what they do.
They do this also, but sometimes they don't have to because their arms are so long,
Yeah.
so they just shoot it.
Shoot it right away.
You saw one of the Rutola brothers, I can't remember which one, beat Gary Tonin.
Yeah.
Just in a...
That was Cade. It was Cade. I believe that was Cade Rutola.
Yeah, so just beat Gary
Yeah,
Tonin
yeah.
in a grappling match.
Yeah.
So I think that it was a beautiful display of jiu-jitsu. It was, it woke me up, because that's always past my bedtime when I'm watching these fights. But it also showed that the level of jiu-jitsu, the level of wrestling, and not to knock off anything on Kevin Holland, he obviously has a very good career, and he still has a lot left in him, obviously, and he has beat great people before. But it was a different game from when he fought Derek Brunson, for example, who is a jiu-jitsu guy, who is a wrestler.
Yeah.
Different.
But nah, Khamzat's on a completely
Different level.
It's,
And here there's a difference too. Culturally in the United States, if you don't know this, folk style wrestling is a lot bigger than freestyle.
What's the difference between folk style and freestyle?
The rules. So in folk style wrestling, you have 3 rounds, right? You're starting on your feet, and then the next 2 rounds you start on your back. Well, you start with back control, turtle positions basically. And then the 3rd round, you switch it.
Oh.
So it's a lot more control. It's like, think of it as jiu-jitsu without submissions.
Okay.
So folk style is in your face, front headlock, which is funny because this was a front headlock position that you don't really see in freestyle wrestling. Freestyle wrestling is separation.
Right.
They want to see feet go up. They want to see you take them down. It pushes the shots more. Folk style, you can be a terrible double legger, but still win with just ground control. So a lot of people will be terrible at takedowns, but they'll get away and defend, and then their strategy will be ground control. They'll be able to grab your hip, take you over, score your points. You guys who are wrestlers know exactly what I'm talking about. So it's funny to see Derek Brunson, who comes from a folk style cultural I'm going to ground and pound. I'm going to stay in your guard. I'm going to beat you up, Kevin Holland, right? Versus a freestyle wrestler who adapted to the folk style game. Because I think Chimaev is like a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, blue belt.
I don't even know if...
Or sambo. He does something.
Yeah, but in jiu-jitsu, I think he's a white belt.
He might be a white belt. See him in the IBJJF. Who's that guy? That guy is who you're fighting. It's a white belt. You'll be fine. It's a white belt. Good luck.
Good luck.
He's 29. He'll be masters in like 2 more years. Masters, by the way, is 30 and up.
That is insane.
So you got
Khamzat Chimaev at a white belt tournament.
You know, if real quick side subject, if the organizations were smart, like who's number 1, ADCC and IBJJF, they should bring Chimaev for super fights just to bring some awareness to jiu-jitsu. That would be great.
He'll probably lose though.
In a gi. But no gi?
Khamzat versus jiu-jitsu guys?
Yeah.
Who's he gonna beat?
In no gi?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, adult or masters?
I mean, adult.
Adult?
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna be fighting...
ADCC rules.
Yeah, but he's gonna be, in the ADCC, he's gonna be fighting Cade Rotolo, Ty Rotolo.
I think he's bigger than them, isn't he?
He's 185.
Nah, he cut to 185.
Okay, well,
he cut to 185.
But that's probably where he would compete at. I mean, he'll.
No,
dude,
I think he would stay at 205, his natural weight, and fight.
Okay.
I mean, he'd fight worse. He'd fight like, you know, what is it, Nicky Rod and these guys.
dude, he'll get smoked.
I don't know. He wouldn't get taken down.
But, well,
You think about it. I don't know. I think it'd be good for the sport.
In ADC, you're right. Yeah,
I think it'd be
I
great
don't
for
see
the
anyone
sport.
taking him down.
No.
They're not gonna take him down. That's for
I mean,
sure.
pull guard, he's gonna laugh.
Yeah, that
right?
is true. That is true.
So, by the way, pulling guard, we don't discriminate here at the academy. Totally okay to pull guard, okay? But we will make fun of you sometimes. I pull guard, so.
Yeah. I did not pull in my last tournament.
You did not pull at all.
I told you I
did
was
great.
not gonna pull.
By the way, he did great. You're gonna post those videos?
I
somewhere?
will. I will.
Okay,
Yeah.
did awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, you showed some breakdowns that we went over.
Yes. Yes.
So
yes.
very, very good to see your development of jiu-jitsu, and now your understanding of it too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You can see even now. I don't think a year ago you would have argued with me about Chimaev having a chance. You'd be like, oh yeah, Chimaev would win everything. We're like, no, Henry Jiu-Jitsu is different. So the fact that I'm trying to back him up, like, no, he would do well. I think I'd give him the benefit of the doubt a little bit.
Yeah.
But you're right, he could probably get caught with a heel hook.
Something like that.
They pull
maybe.
guard.
But you made a very good point. They're not going to take him down. And ADCC wrestling is so huge.
Right.
So important.
Yeah. And I remember seeing a lot of MMA guys who were very good at the sport. Trying to think. Jake Shields, back in the day, he could compete. Was it Ben Henderson?
Benson Henderson, he
Henderson.
did.
He was great also.
Gilbert Melendez.
As well. So you got, I mean, Gilbert Burns, of course. That doesn't go without an introduction for that. So I think at the end of the day, seeing the level and how it's kind of, people are starting to see, because you got, obviously, is Islam.
Islam Makhachev.
He's fighting soon.
He is so good.
So here's my thing, and we'll do a whole another. That's for another day.
Yeah.
But to talk about that matchup, because that's going to be Muay Thai Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu versus Sambo. And combat Sambo.
Combat Sambo.
So it's like,
I just don't know if like Charles Oliveira is, he's good, but I think it's a little bit
different.
Like, is he the right guy to represent Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu though?
Well, so that's been the argument in
You know
the
what I
Jiu-Jitsu
mean?
community, right? Like the rumor is he's great at Jiu-Jitsu for MMA, but as we know,
in the world of Jiu-Jitsu,
it's completely different.
Right.
Completely different. So, there's rumors of training video with him and like nobodies from Brazil just tapping him out.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Oh, dude.
But that doesn't
Yeah.
take away his Jiu-Jitsu and MMA. So we're gonna have a whole funny talk on that.
Okay,
That's
okay.
coming up pretty soon.
Okay.
But I still like to see how the sport itself has evolved with, beautiful wrestling setup. Boom, came in, shot, hit body lock, took him down. They spun. Holland was trying his best to just, out athlete the position.
everybody got to learn to wrestle, man.
Right.
Whether it's in the world of Jiu-Jitsu, in MMA, you got to learn to wrestle, bro. Wrestling is important, and it is getting more and more and more and more important in pretty much every combat sport that we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
Every combat sport, wrestling is, you got to learn it.
Yeah, and there was a lot of people back in the day that would get away just with wrestling. Like, Matt Hughes, for example. All he would do is wrestle. His striking was poor.
Yeah.
His jiu-jitsu was poor.
Yeah.
But
He beat Hoist Gracie.
just with wrestling.
Yeah, mounted him.
Yeah. So it's like, you know what I mean?
It's important.
It's very important.
It's
Who
important.
was the other one? Who lost to what's his name? The wrestler who ended up retiring and then fighting boxing. I don't know why I forgot.
Oh, Ben Askren.
Ben Askren.
Yeah.
So Ben Askren for a long time was undefeated in the other organization.
Yeah, just wrestling.
Wrestling.
Yeah.
He would literally just get them. I think one guy pulled guard. He just put them up, slammed them, and just ground and pound. Match was over. So it goes without saying. The wrestling, is a very strong component. I much rather have like if a guy's gonna go MMA next year, it's so much easier to train a wrestler, jiu-jitsu, than a jiu-jitsu fighter MMA. Yeah. And this is not any dismissal to any jiu-jitsu fighter who doesn't do wrestling.
We love jiu-jitsu.
I love jiu-jitsu, right? But that's why we have wrestling.
But
at
we're
our
not
school.
dumb. We
not dumb.
know the importance of wrestling.
We have a wrestling class in my school
Yeah.
because it's that important. I make all my students learn wrestling from a high-level wrestler who wrestled at the highest level, Division I, out of Purdue. He's here every Tuesday. And I purposely
here tomorrow.
have him. He'll be here tomorrow.
Can't wait.
I purposely have him here teaching because I want him to get our students to the level that they need to be in. And if it's a hobbyist or a competitor, they need to learn how to transition, how to go deep for a single, sweep single, dive deep on a nice sprawl to the back, duck under. We did duck unders last week. So I think it's great, even for me as an instructor and a coach, to continue to evolve my game. And we also bring in the judo guys every now and then. We run judo courses here as well. So we have judo, wrestling, both folk style, and even some Greco-Roman, if like you saw your match, you were able to pull that.
Yeah.
And of course, obviously, jiu-jitsu. So leave in the comment sections what questions you had, what did you like about the fights, and until next time, keep rolling.